Welcome back to my next playthrough series. Yes, we're doing Aliens, another glorious day in the Corps. And yes, I have the expansions. I also have these absolutely awesome 3D miniature models, 3D printed models that I got online. And I have everything set up. This game's been out for, oh God, 4 or 5 years now. And I finally picked everything up. Had a heck of a time getting the models together. They are a pain. They are together though. So there we have it. These I did not have to put together. I just bought them. They're done. Okay, we are going to take a look at our first mission. And the first mission is Mission 1, Newt. So these are the expanded missions that come with the expansion Get Away From Her You Be. And so that's why we have a bigger map. Normally in the base game you just have these 2 tiles, and then this one. In the expanded, you get the expansion, you end up getting more tiles, just a bigger board, but you also get more motion tracker cards which bring aliens onto the board. And you also get, I don't know if you just barely see it, there's an endurance deck which has items, equipment, it has hazard cards, and event cards in it, and that's kind of our life, so to speak. You spend endurance cards to do things like fire your weapons. Alright, let's just take a look at the mission itself. I have it all set up here. These yellow blips are alien blips. I'm using just yellow tokens to show up a little better. I have a bag full of the alien blips, and they're anywhere from 1 to 5 aliens show up at one time. There are these interesting larger blips. These are part of the scenario setup. We're looking for Newt. Newt is off the board right now. It's a little miniature. Again, you have to put all these ones together. It's not that difficult, but it does take a lot of time, and it's a little bit of a pain in the backside. Okay, let's have a quick look at the mission. Alright, so this is the expanded mission that comes with Get Away From Here Beach. So again, we have the board set up, and you can see some of the doors are barricaded already. We got a computer terminal sitting here. These bigger ones that you're showing here, these big blips, are, one of them is Newt, one of them is nothing. I think one is 2 aliens, one is 1. So the objective of this mission, of course, is to find Newt. It gives you the little code here. So we've seen the board, and we are on to Mission 1, Newt. Mission goal: to win the mission, you need to locate and recruit Newt, and then escape the board with her alive. The exit is at the end of this corridor. And in this mission, Newt is not part of your fire team. Instead, her token and 3 other mission blip tokens are face down, shuffled in place where indicated on the board. I had already mentioned that those big tokens are those. Extraction. Models can exit the board by moving onto the exit token once Newt has been rescued. And we have a computer token. This token indicates a computer that characters can interact with on the board. The character on the space. They make a tech test, and if you pass, you can look at any face-down blip token. So we can look at alien blip tokens, or we can look at one that possibly is Newt. So we can go to this computer terminal here, get an adjacent space, do a tech test. If you pass your tech test, you can take a look at one of the tokens. Or game over, man. This mission ends in failure if Newt dies at any point. We don't want that. Once all surviving characters and Newt move, well, once all surviving characters is key, and Newt move on to the exit, the mission ends. If Newt or 2 or more characters survive, the mission is successful. Otherwise, the mission ends in failure. I'm playing it solo, which means I'm using 1 character as a hero. The other 5 characters are grunts. And just to show you that, we'll be playing Frost as a grunt, so he has a special ability here. After shooting an M240 flamethrower, reveal a card. And it's this, and this is recycle a card. I'll get into all the details of how things work. So basically, anatomy of a card, you have your speed, that's how many hexes you can move on the board. Defense, when you get attacked by an alien, you have to roll that or lower, or you get knocked down. And if you're already knocked down, and then you get taken away. And then there's rescue missions. And the melee number is, if you roll that number, then you actually retaliate against the alien attacking you, kill it. The tech value 5, we talked about that with the computer. And aim value, very important. So that's the grunt side. If you look at the hero side, they have better stats and more abilities. So when I'm playing a solo game, I've chosen Hicks as our hero. We'll get to him here in a second. And the other... So I got Hudson, Vasquez, Gorman, Ripley, and Frost, all as grunts. And I got Dwayne Hicks as our hero, as our solo player. Alright, motion tracker deck. Shuffle 5 threat level 1s and 5 threat level 2s together to form a 10 on top of your deck and shuffle the rest. So that's basically it. The 2 blip cards are level 1. I think there's 5 or 6 on a level 2. Of course, I'm not going to be able to grab there. That's a level 2. And then level 3s just have an absolute ton, which of course we can't find any. There we go. There's a level 3. These are all, of course, bad, except there's a couple of them I think are false alarms. They're very far and few between, or few and far between, or whichever you want to say that. Okay, drawing motion tracker cards. Do not draw motion tracker cards until turn 4. Now, because I have the expansion, I'm using the Alien Hive tracker. There's another one. This one goes up to 10, though, which I kind of like. So, and I like the look of this, too. So, basically, we're starting off on turn 1. So, we will not draw motion tracker cards until 4, so we get a bit of a breather at the start of this mission. Campaign notes. We'll worry about the campaign. There's a 5-game campaign now, plus there's rescue missions you can go on in between, so there's that. So basically, Newt is hidden among the 4 mission blip tokens. These blips are spotted like normal, but unlike regular blips, they do not move during the alien phase. When you flip a blip token to reveal Newt, place a Newt miniature there. She's now a character in the game. Until she calms down, she activates after all characters are activated each turn. Each turn she takes 2 move actions, taking a path that will end her movement as far away as possible from any Marine, but not Ripley. So she doesn't run away from Ripley, she runs away from everyone else, and of course she can run into the arms of aliens, which will then eat her. Alright, any character that's within 2 spaces and in line of sight of Newt may take an interact action to calm her down. To do this, roll a 4 or less. Newt calms down, becomes part of your fire team. If Ripley's in play as a hero, add her character card as a hero, otherwise add her as a grunt. We're going to be adding her as a grunt because we're playing Ripley as a grunt. Okay, that is our mission. Should we accept it? Alright. Oh my goodness. Alright, we'll take a quick little look at our characters, the 6 that we're playing with, and then we'll get into it. Alright, so before I get into the characters, this is our starting location, this little area right here. So there's our drop ship. We're out here in this kind of a warehouse area. We got an alien blip here. We got an alien blip here, and no, the white lines do not block line of sight. So we can see these aliens right off the start of the game. We'll get into that when we start having our first turn. So basically, I've got Frost here. Then I got Hicks, I got Vasquez, then I have Hudson, here I have Ripley in the middle here, and Gorman at the back. Now our mission is to find Newt. Get out of here. Okay, let's take a look at some of our characters. Alright, so I am playing solo as Hicks, and yes, in the expansion, the Ultimate Badasses and the 5x5, there are these little expansion cards, or little buffs we can take just for heroes, though, not for the grunts. So we're going to take Gunner 1 for Dwayne Hicks. There's 3 of these. I chose this one, and it's before firing defensive fire, this character may take a free aim action. We'll go into what actions you can do. So he basically has a pulse rifle. So how you fire your weapons is you exhaust cards from that big stack. So there's exhausting cards, there's revealing cards, there's discarding cards, and they all mean something different. We'll get into it as we play the game. An interesting little mechanic on this game is we have something called an aim dial. At the beginning of all the Marines' turns, everyone sets their aim dial to their number. You need to roll that or less when you attack an alien to actually kill one of them, because they can come in stacks of 5. Every time you take a shot, whether you hit or miss, your aim dial goes down 1. And it can never go below 1, and it can never get higher than 10. And yes, you can go higher than this. If Hicks is beginning the game, which he will be because he's our only hero, the rest are grunts, we could do an aim action, which means we pump our aim up to 8. Alright, so the pulse rifle, you exhaust a card to fire it. And there's no range in the game. It all has to do with line of sight. So if you have line of sight to an alien, you can shoot at it. And I got my little laser thing, so we'll be looking at that. So he has a speed of 4, a defense of 6, a melee of 3. On activation, you may draw an endurance card. And why would we want to do that? Because he has a passive ability. Once per turn, you may exhaust a card from your hand, and when you exhaust a card, it goes in the exhaust pile, to re-roll Hicks's failed attack roll. So we could do that. He also has a backup shotgun. And if you see here it says weapon backup, it has to have a backup keyword or it can't go in this spot. Lots going on in this game, but we'll explain it while we're playing. It's not super complicated. I hope I get the rules correct. He also has body armor. If this character fails a defensive roll, we reveal a card, do what it says. So if he rolls, say, a 7 on defense and fails, then we consult his body armor. All right, we're going to very quickly take a look at the rest of our characters. They're all grunts. They're not going to have really too much for special abilities. We already looked at Frost. Frost has a flamethrower and body armor. All right, let's take a look at Ripley, Vasquez, Gorman, and then Hudson. All right, trying to get this to focus a little bit. So we have Ripley as a grunt, speed of 4, defense of 5, melee 1, 5 tech, 5 aim. Pretty bad. She's got body armor, pulse rifle. She has a combat knife, which is kind of cool. This came with the expansion. See a little loader symbol there. So she gets to gain -1 to your defense rolls. And you're thinking, oh, that sounds bad. Well, no, -1, you roll the die and you subtract because you want to roll under your defense number. So it virtually gives her a defense of 6, which is better because less chance of dying. And it says exhaust this card to let the equipped character re-roll a failed defense roll. So if she fails a defense roll, she could put this in the exhaust pile and re-roll the defense roll, but then she wouldn't get the -1, she'd be down to 5. Anyway, she also has combat armor. All right, let's take a look at Vasquez. And I hope it's kind of focusing. So I don't have any backup weapons for her. She's got a 6 aim, 4 tech, so 4 speed, 3 defense, yeah, and 1. She's got body armor. She has the smart gun. The smart gun you have to discard. Normally, you have to discard, exhaust. I gotta get terminology right. You have to exhaust 3 cards to fire it. And then there's something called full auto. The pulse rifles, the smart guns have full auto, which means you discard 1 card, keep shooting. If you keep hitting, I'll explain it as we play. But Vasquez's special passive ability is exhaust 2 cards instead of 3 every time you use the smart gun. So Vasquez can just discard 2 cards to fire the smart gun instead of 3. So if anyone else had it, they'd have to exhaust 3 cards. All right, let's take a look at Gorman. And Gorman pretty much sucks. But anyway, he's 4-4-1, tech of 5, aim of 4. Now he's got a pistol as a backup weapon. It says only weapon. I also gave him a helmet. He's got a flare. The flare for a free action, you can discard this card. So there's discard, not exhaust. To look top 4 cards, put 1 on the bottom, put the other 3 back in anyway. So he can kind of scout ahead a little bit. And the pistol always hits on a 3 or less. Now his aim is 4. He's got a terrible aim, so there was really no point giving him any other weapons except a pistol. If your aim dial goes, say, 2 or 1, the pistol still hits on a 3, so it's a little bit better. All right, again, I'll try to explain everything. We'll take a look at the cards when and if things come up. Last up, let's take a look at Hudson. And now I really don't know if this is focusing, but he has a pulse rifle. He's a combat knife, -1 to defense. 6 is his aim, 6 tech, 4 speed, 5 defense, 1 melee. He's got body armor. He's got the motion tracker. As a free action, you can reveal a card. If you reveal an event or an equipment, you can look at the top 2 cards. The motion tracker deck, place 1 of the cards at the bottom and the other on top. And if you pull a weapon card, you exhaust this card. If you pull a hazard card, you just, it's reveal. If you reveal a hazard card, it just goes to the bottom of the deck. So let me just explain very briefly how that deck works, and then we're going to get into the first turn. Oh my god, way up at the top here. So our endurance deck is pretty big. If you reveal a card, you look at it, see what type of card it is, and it goes back underneath. There's a reshuffle here. And this deck is actually pretty beefy at the moment. When you exhaust a card, you don't look at it and you put it in the exhaust pile. When you discard a card, you do look at it and you put it in the discard pile. When you recycle a card, you take it from the exhaust pile and you shove it underneath the shuffle card. And one of the actions, which we're going to look at our actions in our turn order here right now to see what's going on. One of them is a rest action, which means you can, if you're a hero, you can draw 2 cards and recycle 3, or you can opt not to draw any cards. You can draw 1, 2, or none and recycle 3. All right, we're going to back camera out. We're going to take a look at our order of how things operate, and then I think we're going to have a little bit of a go of a turn here. All right, so we have this handy dandy card that came with the expansion. Does it have an expansion symbol on it? Okay. Oh, 2023. Okay, so I think 2020 was the original. Maybe expansion came 2023. I don't know. So we have a marine phase. So at the beginning of the marine phase, so Marines go, then aliens go. Marines go, aliens go, back and forth until you complete your objectives, or we fail, man. One or the other. So everybody resets their aim dial, which means they go back to their default value on their card. And then step 1, resolve all on activation abilities. So we do this on turn. Now, if we take a look at Hicks, who's our hero, we do have an on activation. It says you may draw an endurance card. We don't have to, but we may. And we may want to do that. Now, the problem becomes if you draw a hazard card, you're kind of stuck with it, and they're pretty bad. So we do the on activation. Then step 2, equip endurance cards. And then step 3, okay, so the equipping endurance cards, how that works, if this was in your hand, it costs exhausting 2 cards to equip this. So the cost to play a card, an event, an equipment, a weapon, is that right? It says cost, and that's exhausted cards. All right, got that figured out. And then we can perform up to 2 actions. And you can perform the same action twice. You don't have to perform 2 actions, you can perform 1. So what can we do? We can move. So you can move twice, you can attack, you can barricade. You either can spend, you could test tech if you're adjacent to a door to remove a barricade, or you can test tech adjacent to a door that doesn't have a barricade to put a barricade on it. So that's what barricading. Aim. I explained aim. If you take an aim action, you take your aim dial and you increase it by 1, and it can go past your initial number. All right, interact. If we're next to this computer, we can do a tech test and interact with it, and then we can look at any face-down blip. Card action. Some cards will have actions like events. They will say, pay this cost, and then look at this or whatever. So, say motion tracker. So, card action. This is a free action, so it won't cost you 1 of your 2 actions, but cards have, some of them have actual actions to them, and the rest I explained. A hero can take up to 2 cards if they want to in their hand, and then recycle 3 of them back underneath the reshuffle. Of course, if you are drawing your endurance deck and you get to that reshuffle part, there's no more cards on top, then you basically reshuffle what's there and make a new endurance deck. Step 4, resolve all end of activation abilities. Some characters have end of activation. Use your rank to activate grunts. Now, because I'm playing solo, that does not matter. Corporal Hicks has a rank of 2, so he could activate 2 grunts if we were playing with more than 1 hero, but we're not. So basically what's going to happen is Hicks is going to go, and then all of the grunts are going to go. And it's just going to happen every turn. We don't really need to worry about this. And then pass the activation token. So step 5 and 6 we really don't need to activate because we're playing solo. And then you get, after all of that, then you get to the alien phase. I don't know if we're going to get to a turn today. Maybe we will not. We might reveal these blips and call it a day. Activate aliens. So any aliens that are on board, not blips, but aliens, will activate. They get to move up to 6 spaces. Wow, that's a lot. And then you activate blips. So this blip here would activate, and you do it by tile. So there's 1 tile here, 1 tile here, 1 tile here, etc. Remember, the objective tokens, like those big ones, do not activate or move. These ones will, though. So we'll worry about that during the alien phase. And if you don't have line of sight to a blip, well, they're not revealed. How I'm going to do it is I have a bag here with all of the blips in them. I'll show you one here. So just randomly pull one out, and there we go. That's what they look like. So that would be 1 alien. I think there's anything from 1 to 5 in here, and there's another one. So anyway, you'll see how that works when aliens are revealed. Okay, so activating blips. Draw motion tracker cards. Now in this scenario, we don't draw motion tracker cards until turn 4. So we won't be for the first 3 turns, but you would do that, follow what it says on the card. Then the finish phase will all be finish effects, check for victory or defeat, and clean up. And that is an entire turn. Okay, I think how we're going to end off our game today, because we have line of sight, remember these white lines do not block line of sight, so our entire crew gets out of our drop ship and they're like, oh my god, there's aliens here. So we're going to figure out how many there are, we'll put the alien models on the board, and I think we're going to leave it off there for today. Alright, so this is basically part of the setup, and so let's... And again, there's a ton of tokens in here. Now, I didn't put their special aliens that come in the Ultimate Badasses, I think, or in the Pipe 5x5. I can't remember which expansion. I'm not playing with those on this first mission. We may play with them in a later mission. All right, so the first blip is going to be, what do we get? The upper right corner, this one here. And out of the bag we get, oh, it's 1 alien. Okay, I'll just put that there for now. And the second one revealed. And 1 is not bad. And we get 4. Yeah, here they come. All right, so this one's just 1 alien. So we just take 1 lovely little alien model. And they are there, ready to come chomp our head. These tokens go back in the bag. And of course the blip token itself. There's no more blip there because it's been revealed. This one is 4 aliens. So how do we do that? We have this stack of aliens. So 1, 2, 3. So we're going to put 3 tokens underneath there, and then we will put 1 on top, representing a stack of 4 aliens, and that goes back in the bag. So, yeah, we're going to be doing lots of shooting, I think, when we come back. All right, we'll get rid of that flip token. All right, it's the first turn, and when we come back tomorrow, we'll get into the gameplay. We basically need to get through the barricaded door. Oh, and spawn points. Jeez, I didn't even mention them. So we have a spawn point, 2 in the landing area here. The other spawn points you'd seen already on the board. I'm going to back camera out a little bit here. We're going to wrap up our episode for today. Alright, well that's going to wrap up our episode for today. So our scene is set. So either this one, or that one is Newt. You can see we got a big board going on. We got 4 aliens here, 1 there. Yeah, we're not going to be drawing motion tracker cards, which are going to spawn aliens, do all kinds of crazy things. We can get over to the computer here and start looking at blips, but we got a long ways to get over there. So we've got a spawn point 3, spawn point 1, 2, and 4. Yeah, gonna be fun. It's gonna be another glorious day in the Corps. So thanks so much for watching along. Thanks for your comments, subscriptions, likes, dislikes, participation of any kind. It really helps my channel. Really appreciate it. Excited to get this down to the table and give it a run and see how we do. Are we going to survive the alien onslaught and find Newt, or are we going to get messed around? Oh, and if you've noticed, this is a Hero Quest door because you only get 4 of the big ones in that pack that I got. Thanks so much. I hope to see you tomorrow for the continuation. Aliens, another glorious day in the Corps. We're playing Mission 1, Newt.